You're watching Blunt Politics with Boston Brian.
Let's go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you joining me. It is Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. You have now just tuned in to Blunt Politics, the political podcast that sifts through the propaganda and lies of the GOP, Donald Trump, the mainstream media, and breaks it down for normal people like you and me, because that is who is affected by these policies and these things. We have literally so much to talk to. Sorry, my background is not the correct background, and I do apologize. Not sure why that happened, but we have literally so much to talk to today. I mean, if I try to count the stories that I have, it's probably upwards of 30 literally that I have flagged for today's show, and we just did a show Sunday, so it's not like it's been a week or a month or anything like that. Just a few of the things that we're going to be talking about today. Let me see if I can bring you in here. That way you guys can see it. Donald Trump this morning calling for President Obama, I guess, to be arrested for treason. We'll be taking a look at that clip right off the bat. Again, more craziness, lunacy, and distraction attempt by Donald Trump to get people talking again about Russia, about Obama, about anything other than Jeffrey Epstein is all he cares about. We'll also be taking a look at, today's going to be a little bit of a copyright nightmare. Just everything that I want to play, everything that I want to show is just, I'm in danger of getting some copyright somewhere. So I am going to say right off the bat to the YouTube gods, to anybody that sees this, the clips that I am playing today are for educational and informational purposes only. They are pertaining to the President of the United States and the cover-up in the government of the United States right now that is now ongoing. For one of the largest child pedophilia, sex trafficking rings ever known to this world. So please bear with me, because I'm trying to inform the audience. I'm trying to let them know exactly what's going on, because we got Stephen Colbert hits back hard at Donald Trump. We also have Seth Meyers takes a shot. He addressed the whole Epstein thing again in a good way. We have Mehdi Hasan, ladies and gentlemen, on the, oh boy. And this is another thing. I have a bunch of different clips from this. So this is breaking points covering Mehdi Hasan on Jubilee, because I've heard from a few different streamers, a few different content creators, that Jubilee likes to hit people with content strikes, copyright strikes, excuse me. So I don't know if I should try to watch it through other shows that have been brave enough to cover it, or if I should just try it myself. But there are some amazing and unhinged clips that we need to get to from that. What else do we got? We got then we're going to jump into a few people that we know covering that whole thing. So Tim Pool has his opinions on the whole thing. And then we'll be talking about, I guess, one of the craziest stories, one of the more, frustrating stories. And again, I'm worried about copyright. This is Kyle Kalinske speaking about Benjamin Netanyahu doing the Full Send podcast while he's mid-genocide, mid-ethnic cleansing. As we'll be talking about more stories today about how the IDF is killing roughly 100 people a day, either through starvation or just outright killings. Nearly 100 people killed seeking aid in Gaza on Sunday alone, Palestinian officials say. So there's a lot that we're going to have to get into. We'll be talking about Donald Trump's crazy Truth Social posts. We'll be talking about what else? What else do we got here? There's a lot of clips from that the Nelk Boy Full Send podcast from Netanyahu that I want to get into. They're relatively short clips. Nick Fuentes actually has a based take with the Nelk Boys afterwards. If we have time, we'll take a look at that. Tiff sent me a bunch of stuff. Yvonne sent me a bunch of stuff that we'll try to get into. And then obviously, like I said, the comments this morning by Donald Trump. So if you're ready to get into it, I do appreciate you guys being here. Let me hop into the chat and thank you guys real quick. Tiff, thank you so much for being here, as well as the other mods that we have that are fantastic rocks. We got Mark, we got Adam, Locata, Andrea, all you guys do a fantastic job. I know I'm missing a few on there because we have so many great mods, but thank you all for keeping the chat safe. I really do appreciate it. Wow, geez, I got the whole alfalfa thing with the, hold on. Let me see if I can help that. There we go. That works. All right, that works. But yes, thank you, Kathleen, Owl, Gypsy, Colleen, Denise, Alan. You guys are amazing. Midas, Robin. What's this? What's going on? How are you, Andrew? Rosanna, how are you? Appreciate you guys. Gen X George, what's going on? Jorge, Dame Dog, Kelly. Hi, Mel. Thank you so much for your services. And thank you so much for the 5 gifted, Mel. Thank you for kicking that off in the right direction. And you two guys can be just like Mel by gifting or donating or signing up yourself for a membership. Just underneath me, we had just surpassed 500 members on the last show. So thank you guys very, very much. You can, again, either gift or sign up yourself. It's $2.99 for the month, less than a gallon of gas here in Southern California. So, you can make the choice, make the decision if it's worth your time and energy. But thank you guys so much. Laser Sword, Nicholas, Lady Bird, you guys are fantastic. Forrest, Richie, we have so much to get into right now, so I'm going to hop right into it. But I just want to let you know that there is patreon.com/Boston Brian. You can sign up there for as little as $5 a month, get you into the VIP Zooms, get you into the Zooms. And if you sign up for the VIP level, you can get into the VIP Zoom as well that we do every single month. There is, again, like I said, the memberships underneath me. You can gift just like our wonderful mods continue to do right now. Another 5 gifted from Rocks to kick this off. Thank you so much, Rocks. I appreciate not only your time and energy, but also your amazing and generous support. So thank you so much. Let's get into right away what Donald Trump had to say this morning, Donald Trump's comments this morning about Obama. Again, this is Donald Trump's attempt to distract everybody to get some other story in the news other than his involvement, his dealings, his past with Jeffrey Epstein, as we reported on the last show, as we saw one of Epstein's ex-girlfriends recount an event where Donald Trump groped her at Trump Tower in front of Jeffrey Epstein. Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. Let's go. Appreciate you guys. Every single show, you guys have been fantastic. I can't thank you enough. I really do appreciate you. Unbelievable. It really is. Thank you guys. So let's get into this clip and see what Donald Trump had to say, what distractions he's trying he's hoping his base will fall for here because, again, this is just all utter bullshit. Tulsi Gabbard herself did not release anything that says anything that she says it says. Nothing. There's also clips going around of Tulsi Gabbard saying herself, talking herself about the Russian interference and collusion in the 2016 election. So let's get into this clip and see what Donald Trump had to say. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share the show out, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 15,000 subscribers. I really appreciate your help and support and getting us there. Thank you very much. So let's get into this. Thank you one more time. Appreciate you guys.
Talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold. Tulsi Gabbard, what they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up to 2020 of the election. They tried to rig the election and they got caught. and there should be very severe consequences for that. You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the
I remember him saying that at all his rallies. Do you guys remember him saying that? It definitely wasn't lock her up being chanted over and over again. It definitely wasn't Donald Trump calling her a bitch and, you know, saying son of a bitch and lock her up. And it definitely wasn't that. It must have been, thank you, Slacks. Let's go, Slacks. Appreciate you, dude. Love right back to you. We're going to find out today. They're having a meeting actually as we speak right now with the doctor. So I should be hearing something hopefully as I get off the chat. But thank you, Slacks. I appreciate you and everybody else that's reached out and, you know, messaged me about my uncle. I appreciate that. It really is nice of you guys to do. So thank you so much. Appreciate you, Slacks. Let's go. Let's keep going here. And again, this is just all nonsense, horseshit, hogwash, whatever you want to call it, whatever the word and the term is for it. But this is just utter bullshit. What we're looking at here. Again, basically what the papers released by Tulsi Gabbard said were that Russia did not directly hack into or get access into our voting machines, in that, you know, they surmise by what they find that it would be very difficult for somebody to basically change the outcome of the elections by themselves in one criminal event or by using criminality without people catching on to it. But we know that Russia used various other means of communication, of propaganda, of hacking into the DNC and the RNC, of, you know, releasing information about people's past, multiple different ways they used in order to enact change in this election without actually directly hacking into the voter machines. So this is all just, again, utter bullshit. But Donald Trump, desperate to get something into the news that doesn't involve Jeffrey Epstein's name.
Wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start, after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's
whether it's right or wrong, it's time to start going after people. So basically what he's saying there is, I don't give a shit if this is true or not true. I need something else in the news. I need some sort of investigation to open up. I need some sort of grand jury. I need some sort of subpoena sent out. I need something here that people can talk about that, again, does not have the words Epstein or Trump in the name together, right side by side, or the picture of Epstein and Trump, or the videos of Epstein and Trump, or the letters that Trump sent Epstein, or the the 4,725 files that the DOJ is not releasing that depicts, you know, over $1.5 billion in transactions flowing through Jeffrey Epstein's bank accounts. Couldn't be any of that. You know,
not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016.
Yes, that's, again, the pages and the papers that we're referencing here that say absolutely nothing of the sort to what you're now, accusing Obama of doing, or accusing the DOJ, or accusing our, intel agencies of doing. It says nothing of like that. I read it. It says nothing like that. I even saw the little parts that they had circled. It said nothing of the sort.
And in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level. So that's really the things you should be talking about. I know.
Right, there it is. That's really the things that you should be talking about. Please, for the love of God, Donald Trump says, talk about something other than me and Jeffrey Epstein. That's exactly, like, to put this in other terms, like if we put the closed captions on, maybe put it in another, like, that's what will be on the bottom. That it'll be like, just shut the fuck up about Epstein. Talk about this Obama thing. I know it's fake, but please just talk about it. Is because in Donald Trump's infinite wisdom, with Donald Trump's huge brain that everybody loves, right? What when he says
China has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain.
An idiot.
Know nothing about the other, but I think it's appropriate that they do go.
May I ask you about that, Mr. President? Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard has submitted a criminal referral to the Department of Justice. From your perspective, who should the DOJ target as part of their investigation? What specific figures?
Who should the DOJ target as part of their investigation is the question by the reporter, just in case it's too low for you guys to hear.
In the Obama administration.
Well, based on what I read, and I read pretty much what you read, it would be
Which was that one page that was released on Twitter. Oh, Alvin, let's go, brother. Appreciate that. Let's go. Member for 5 months. He absolutely is running scared from Epstein. This is his, I guess, best attempt here at making sure, or at least attempting, making people think about something else other than Jeffrey Epstein. This is his latest attempt here.
President Obama. He started it.
And again, he's only calling for the arrest and possible execution of a former president of the United States. I mean, that's basically all he's calling for. It's not like he's calling for much here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like he's reaching too deep into the bag to pull out, and it's not like his hand and his fist is reaching so far up his ass to pull this out of it, to make sure that people talk about something other than Jeffrey Epstein, that he's actually calling for what really is the arrest and possible execution of a former president of the United States for treason. That's basically what he wants to see happen. But, again, he's not really too worried about people talking about Epstein, if you ask him.
And Biden was there with him, and Comey was there, and Clapper. The whole group was there. Brennan, they were all there in a room right here. This was the room.
Maybe should we subpoena the room? Should we do that? Should we prosecute the room? Maybe the room is guilty of treason as well. Shouldn't the room have done something?
This is much more beautiful than it was then, but that's okay.
Says absolutely nobody. Literally nobody. 0 people say that looks better than it's looked before, because it looks the most ridiculous, gaudy, nonsensical bullshit in there. It just looks disgusting, to tell you the truth. Again, looks like Timu Liberace just threw up all over the White House.
I have nice pictures up. They came out of the vaults. They were in there for 100 years. This is much more beautiful. We have the Declaration of Independence now in the room.
You have a copy of the Declaration of Independence, a replica, you fucking idiot.
Which wasn't here. I guess people didn't feel too good about putting it here, but I do. But you know what? If you look at those papers, they have them stone cold, and it was President Obama. It wasn't lots of people all over the place. It was them too. But the leader of...
Okay, it wasn't lots of people. Well, it was them too, but it was Obama. It wasn't lots of people. Well, it was lots of people, but it was Obama too. But also Biden and Comey and Brennan and yada, 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 yada. I mean, again, nobody's buying this. Nobody is buying this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even think MAGA is buying this. I don't even see them talking about this anymore. Again, when Charlie Kirk, when Tim Pool, and the rest of these people are doing videos on Mehdi Hasan's Jubilee, as opposed to, I don't know, trying to put out the propaganda and, going after Obama. When we saw Matt Walsh's tweet, like, okay, I'm sick of this shit. Like, shut the fuck up about people being guilty. Until I see people in handcuffs, until I see somebody actually being prosecuted, I don't want to hear a fucking peep. I don't want to see nothing put out on Truth Social. I don't want to see anything on Twitter. I don't want to see any interviews. Like, shut the fuck up and do your job. How about that? This is, paraphrasing Matt Walsh, of course. And when you've lost Matt Walsh, one of the grossest and most bigoted people on the internet, then, you got serious problems. And again, nobody's falling for it, but I am just playing you the comments from this morning here. We'll just play a couple more seconds of this, couple more minutes. What's up, Mark? What's up, buddy? Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. Because we got a lot of stories to get into. So just a couple more minutes of this, couple more seconds to see if he says anything ridiculous, and then we'll hop on from this, all right?
The gang was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And except for the fact that he gets shielded by the press for his entire life, that's the one they... Look, he's guilty. It's not a question. I like to say, let's give it time. It's there. He's guilty.
Is that what you like to say? Is that what you say all the time, is let's give it time?
This was treason. This was every word you can think of.
It's every word you can think of. I'm thinking of a few words right now, my friend, and I can tell you right now, they don't pertain to the acts of President Obama. I can tell you that much. No, stop it. Really? That's a shame. That's a shame. R.I.P. R.I.P. I saw Ozzy at Ozfest a few times. I saw him actually with Black Sabbath at Ozfest as well. He actually just performed what was one of his last concerts as well, right? Well, I'm glad he got that in. I'm glad he got that in. I'm glad he was able to, get that last performance in there. But obviously a shame, and, condolences to his family there. But appreciate you throwing that in the chat. That's a shame. That's a shame. Rock God. But yeah, let's move on from this nonsense. All right, guys, what do you say? Because we don't need to see any more of that. That is clearly just an obvious distraction attempt by Donald Trump in order to throw anything into the news that doesn't, again, involve Jeffrey Epstein and his past involvements with the guy. So let's move on now. We're now going to hop into, I guess, dangerous waters. And again, this is for educational purposes only, informational purposes only. This is a political podcast. Again, these are clips speaking about the acts of the president of the United States of America and an active cover-up that is going on right now inside the United States government in order to conceal, in order to protect pedophiles, in order to protect the president of the United States. So again, I believe that all of these clips are very pertinent, very important to play. And I would hope that the people that are behind whatever copyright is going on will understand that. So please, that is my plea to you guys, because this is definitely worth watching, and I'm going to play it regardless. So I'm just hoping that people understand that, this pertains to not only Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, but also Donald Trump's control of the media, the corporate knee bending that is going on behind the scenes in order to allow Donald Trump to have the most favorable news coverage that he could possibly receive. By canceling Stephen Colbert, because Stephen Colbert is, continues to go at Donald Trump, continues to expose Donald Trump because Donald Trump doesn't like what the man says, is another example of obvious control, authoritarian control, fascistic control of the media. Same thing as Donald Trump and Caroline Leavitt, procuring exactly who they want inside the White House press briefing room. The people that won't ask the tough questions, the people that won't ask the follow-up questions, or at least the people least likely to expose any wrongdoings of this administration. So this goes along with that. We've seen his 60 Minutes lawsuit. We've seen several media corporations bend the knee to Donald Trump, either settling in lawsuits, firing high-profile individuals on their channel. But this is Stephen Colbert firing back at Donald Trump after obviously finding out that his show will be canceled. So let's take a look at this. And again, I appreciate this is for educational, informational purposes from a political podcast to make sure that my chat stays informed as to what's going on with the president of the United States and his crimes relating to Jeffrey Epstein. So here we go. Listen. What I will do is I'm just going to speed it up just a touch. Maybe that helps somehow. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to try to stay within the lines here. I'll speed it up just a little bit. I'm going to add my own commentary in to change it to my, to fit my own show. Hopefully that helps a little bit too. So please bear with me on this one. I'm going to do my best. All right, guys, let's get into it.
Go ahead. Thank you very much. Folks, I'm going to go ahead.
Yes, and I see, sorry to stop it again, but I do see people saying in the chat that Jon Stewart had a great episode as well. But I do know that I can't even remember the name of the show. The Daily Show there is very, very strict, I think, from what I remember on who can use their content. So I'm going to try to stay away from that. I think I'm walking a fine line as it is. And thank you, Susan, again for another $10. I appreciate you guys for keeping the show running. Again, this is truly independent media. I sell you nothing. There are no benefactors. There are no corporate donors. There are no people behind the scenes that are making money from this. There's no content behind a paywall. Nothing. Everything that you see, everything that keeps this show running comes directly from you guys, the fans, the citizens of this country that are truly affected by these policies that we continue to talk about. So I really, really appreciate it. Again, Leo, I understand it. I do understand what you're saying, but I'm a small channel. I'm a young channel. As of right now, I have absolutely no copyright strikes on my channel. So again, I think it's very, very important to watch. And if I do get one, then I get one, and then we'll go from there. We'll have learned our lesson on what we can show and what we can't show. Hopefully they, get specific on what it is I showed that was, that did violate copyright if it happens. But I'm, again, hoping that the gods that are watching here on YouTube and the people that put out these videos see that and know just how important this stuff is. So I appreciate you guys and your concern, but, I'm a political podcast, and this is very, pertinent to the political discussion right now. So fuck them. Here we go. As Ozzy Osbourne is not dead, social media scam. Ozzy himself has declared himself very much alive. Okay. Well, there we go. Some good news. A little bit of good news. Again, I haven't seen anything on it, so I'm just kind of going by what you guys are saying. So that's, I guess, just the latest. Progressively Independent again says he died. So I guess that's a battle that will have to take place and play its way out in the chat, because I have no fucking idea. No idea. Progressively Independent says I checked on the news site. So I don't know what news site, but that's just the latest. What Mel was saying, it's like, it's so stupid of them too, because now he gets to go on air with literally zero repercussions. Like, he doesn't have to worry about shit anymore. He can go out and just, again, call it as it is. Not that he didn't before, but now he just really has no guardrails, right? The handcuffs are off. The gloves are off at this point. So it's kind of stupid, especially at this critical juncture in the news, in the news place, where Jeffrey Epstein is making such a run, where, the bombshells keep coming left and right, pertaining to Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. You might, you might have been smarter to try to let him just do his thing the way he was doing it, as opposed to setting the stage on fire and, lighting the fire up under his ass. So let's see here. Oh, Mel says, let's see here. The Aussie story is not a hoax. Stop saying that. All right. Gotcha. All right. Gotcha. Gotcha. So my original comments stand as far as, condolences for Ozzy Osbourne, who apparently, yes, has passed away, unfortunately. But I appreciate you guys. I know sometimes it's tough on the internet to figure out the true story. So don't worry about it. We got it. We got it in the end. We got it in the end. All right, let's continue. Hit the like button. You're watching Blunt Politics. I really appreciate it. I'm Boston Brian. This is Stephen Colbert's response to being canceled. Again, so, he's firing back at Donald Trump. So let's take a look. Let's see if we can get that one more time. Sorry, I kind of booked that by throwing something on the screen at his his coming out moment there. Let me see if we can play. So this is where he gets into the Epstein thing. I was trying to play obviously the go F yourself moment. But I kind of botched that one. I apologize. But here we go, where he gets into, of course, the other story in the news. If you were Stephen Colbert, that little thing about the president being best friends with a pedophile, and possibly I'll stop while I'm ahead. I think on that one, I think we got the point as far as Stephen Colbert's response to Donald Trump. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty short, pretty sweet, as far as telling Donald Trump basically to go fuck himself. So I appreciate Stephen Colbert for his words on that. All right, let's see if I can test the waters even a little more. Again, I'm going to speed it up. Just again, I think that may help just a little bit in the whole copyright issue. That could be a load of horse shit as far as I'm concerned. But let's see if we'll go to 1.2, and then we'll hear just a little bit of Seth's monologue as it pertains to Trump's Epstein birthday letter bombshell rocks MAGA. Trump doodles resurface. This is a closer look. So let's just see if we can hop on with. Sorry, Karen, it's back up on Facebook. I'm not sure what happened, but I got the green check mark now. It says it's back up on Facebook. My apologies. Jesus Christ. Dadgummit. That man wins every single time. I know he's hanging out with pedophiles, dadgummit. When he's hanging out with a dadgum pedophile, his entire life he's flying on a dadgum pedophile jet. He's talking to dadgum pedophiles all day long. He's putting his dadgum hands all over women without, their consent, but the dadgum man wins every dadgum time. Dadgummit. Like, what the fuck? Do you hear yourself talking there, Timmy boy? Do you hear yourself talking? You're talking about the president winning as it pertains to his involvement with a pedophile. That's just as a rep of this, you know what I mean? I just wanted, I'm not sure if you hear yourself talking. And here we go, Mark. Thank you. Appreciate it, buddy. Let's see here. Happy birthday to the love of my life, the brilliant and beautiful Elizabeth. Happy birthday, Elizabeth. Happy birthday. And thank you so much, Mark, for putting that in the chat. I appreciate it. A big round of applause for Elizabeth and her birthday. Last time I played this, you couldn't hear it on the video. So hopefully you can hear this. Let me know if you can hear this round of applause, please and thank you. If not, it's just me clapping. But either way, you get the picture. Happy birthday, Elizabeth. Hope you have a wonderful day. And very sweet of you, Mark, to put that in the chat. Thank you so much for the donation. It's very nice of you. Thank you so much. And again, happy birthday. Yeah, I'm just clapping like a moron. Cool, sweet. Yep, I figured. So yeah, I couldn't hear it. So I'm just clapping in the air like a moron as I now learn that I have been every time I play that. So that's good to know. Good to know. All right, on with this daggone interview with daggone Tim Burchett about the daggone president being friends with a daggone pedophile.
Uncanny that he ends up on top, and I suspect on this case he will do as well.
If you're talking about an illicit sex trafficking ring, I would avoid saying the president always ends up on top.
Oh, shit. Oh, Timmy. I think he's got you there, Timmy boy. Think he's got you there. Choose your words carefully in this situation.
Well, man, there are a lot of people out there saying the president is more of a bottom and that sometimes he is excluded from the festivities altogether and told to sit in a chair in the corner and watch. But I've seen him go to town at these sex parties, and dadgummit, he always ends up on top. Also, if the president calls you a stupid weakling and says he doesn't want your support anymore, and you respond by saying he has a grand strategy and that will play out in due time, that's how you know you're in a cult. You sound like an ancient Greek farmer begging the gods for rain. Why does Zeus punish us with fire and pestilence that destroys our crops? Well, he has a plan. All will be revealed in due time. He just tweeted, Hermes is not mine. I've never met that nymph, Maya.
It's like, it's similar to the, if the Fuhrer or if the Tsar only knew, like, oh man, I can't believe it. Like, we're being punished, but I guess he's got some grand plan. So I guess we'll go along with it. Like the Germans in World War II, and their cities are literally laying in rubble. But at the end, the people that still supported Hitler were like, oh, he'll bring it back. He's definitely got a plan. This is part of the plan for us to be living underground and having no running water and, not eating at all and having my whole family dead. My sons and daughters are dead. Everybody's dead. But he's got some grand plan, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody should just stay the course. I know he called us assholes. I know he called us idiots. I know he said we've been duped by the Democrats, but I still think there's a grand plan. So, yes, that's how you definitely know that you, my friend, are in a cult.
This is another scam perpetrated by that far-left lunatic Hades. Hashtag.
It's been fucking 6 months, dude. How long? It's been, 6 months? Something like that? 6, 7 months since he took office? We're not talking about his third year here. We're not talking about the end of the fourth year. We're talking about 6 months in, dude. Like, settle down.
And all over the world. Could you keep his schedule? Like, I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I just want to present a fair look. Could you keep?
Sounds to me like you're making excuses for the man. Sounds to me like you're interjecting yourself into that position and making excuses for yourself so that you can say you're not making excuses for Donald Trump. But really what you're saying is these excuses should be used and, placed upon Donald Trump for him to use.
His schedule. I know if I have a schedule half that way, I get testy. So that could explain.
Have a Snickers, Betty White. All right. Really just said there's nothing there. Did you hear that? He literally, the words out of his mouth just came out. There's nothing there, and pointed to the side where apparently Jeffrey Epstein is. What?
It could explain him going, can you knock it off? Look what we're doing. There's nothing there.
Can you imagine saying that as it pertains to the friggin' Jeffrey Epstein case? Like imagine the fucking, the cult, the strength of the cult and the need to stay on the good side of the leader and the need to pleasure the cult and to keep it, in good light, as opposed to calling out what you see happening in real time, is just a sign of the strength of this cult. Right? If you can go in front of a camera, if you can sit in front of a microphone and embarrass yourself and degrade yourself and stoop so low as to say there's nothing there as it pertains to, again, the world's largest sex trafficking ring involving children and high-profile individuals from all over the world that we know about, that's when you're going to come on and say there's nothing there? Like, how depraved, right? How much, like, how close, like, how much do you love your proximity to power? Like, how much do you love when the president may say two things about you on Truth Social or say, hey, I like what Glenn said? Like, how much does that mean to you, really? Does that mean more than your self-worth, more than your principles, more than your your faith? And as we'll see later in one of these Jubilee clips, clearly faith doesn't mean shit to these people. Does not mean shit to these people. It is a weapon that they wield in order to get what they want. So again, this is just sick to me and stunning that you can literally, and somebody that's been on, like, on TV, on has his own show, has his own network, you know, whatever you want to call it there, the Blaze, can go on camera and sit there and say there's nothing there as it pertains to Jeffrey friggin' Epstein is just wild to me.
Okay, he's tired. He's grumpy.
Just to boil that down, in case you weren't following, Trump is ignoring the Epstein case because...
My apologies. I'm still thinking about how ridiculous and, like, psychotic you have to be and how brainwashed you must be in order to get through that. I forgot to put it back up on the screen. My bad.
He's sweepy. But hey...
Wait a minute. I thought it was Biden. I thought it was Biden that was tired. Okay. So do we see how this works now, ladies and gentlemen? Are we seeing how this is working now as far as propaganda, as far as hypocrisy is concerned? Sleepy Joe all the time. But now 6 months into Donald Trump's second term, Glenn Beck's excuse is that Donald Trump is tired. Could it get more hypocritical than that? Could it get more like fucking ironic than that moment right there? Like, that is fucking amazing to me. After 4 years of calling Joe Biden Sleepy Joe and Grandpa and Brandon and all these other things, Glenn Beck is now going on camera and saying that Donald Trump is only making these, like, erratic statements, only making these ridiculous and having these ridiculous press conferences and trying to obfuscate from the Epstein files because he's sleepy. That's why Glenn Beck says Donald Trump is doing what he's now doing, because he is sleepy. So move over, Sleepy Joe, I guess, right? We've seen Donald Trump sleeping far more times than I've ever seen Joe Biden asleep at an event in public. So move the fuck over, nickname Sleepy Joe. We got Sleepy Dawn here, right? Doze off Dawn. Dozing Dawn.
Parent to parent, we've all been there, Mr. President, 6 a.m. You know, you get home from the office late, you having your coffee yet, your kids come running in the bedroom, complain that one of them woke the other one up, and the other one stole the first one's toys, and finally you scream, you snap. Barack Obama and James Comey created the Epstein files. Just like the Russia hoax and the laptop from hell. Are you happy now? It's a MAGA world.
All right, like I said, we got a lot to get to. I don't want to stretch it too much on the copyright front, so let's see if we can get on to this next clip. Again, this is, let me see if I can go to the original here. I don't know if I should play the original. I don't know if we should play if I should try to find the clips from it. This actually, Breaking Points actually shows a fair bit of clips from this debate that Mehdi Hasan had with a bunch of fascists that absolutely had no problem whatsoever telling Mehdi Hasan that they were fascists, that Mehdi Hasan is an immigrant that they don't want in this country. These are things said directly to Mehdi Hasan's face. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you, buddy. There are some in MAGA that make the case to keep inbreeding. Right. I appreciate you, Jeff. Well, there's strange ones out there, my man. There's strange ones out there for sure. All right, so let's see if we can get into this. Like I said, I'm not quite sure. I've heard from a lot of people that Jubilee kind of takes their shit a little bit seriously as it pertains to copyright. So this is Breaking Points. This is, again, Kyle Kalinske, and Crystal Ball's show, I believe, or Crystal is co-host with Sagar and my apologies, but I forget the woman's name that she's co-hosting now, but she is the right-wing part of this broadcast, and Crystal is the left part of this broadcast. So this is them going over Mehdi Hasan on Jubilee, again, debating 20 fascists, outright fascists, in my point of view, and in many people's point of view. So this is them covering this. And again, I'm worried about the copyright, so I'm going to sift out the clips that they play here and see if we can just kind of play it through another show. And if they get struck from it, then hopefully it doesn't come back on me. But let's play just a couple clips from this. It's going to be wild. So again, sit back, grab a strong beverage, smoke them if you got them, and buckle the hell up, because this is going to be a wild ride. So here we go. Mehdi Hasan on Jubilee debating just outright fascists.
How would Connor's America look? What would it look like?
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
I didn't ask about deporting. What does the government look like?
What does the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he
Franco.
come from?
It could be a kind of aristocratic class. Could be someone
who picks the autocrat?
Frankly, the people. I mean, we could hold a vote on it. Kings were
isn't that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that stage.
And then no more votes afterwards.
Absolutely.
All right. So do we get that right off the bat? A vote to get your person in power, but no more votes after that. I mean, I think that's the definition, one of the definitional uses of fascism, not having any more elections. I think that can be put pretty high on the list of things that would happen, if a fascist regime got in power.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that autocrat kills.
And I want you to really pay attention to how fucking proud these people are. Right, how unrepentant they are about these bigoted, Islamophobic, fucking anti-immigrant, policies and rhetoric that they spew right to Mehdi's face, with zero empathy or compassion, with zero want to say to take back any of the statements. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me. So I want you to really pay attention to not only what they're saying, but the glee on their face as they're saying it. And it just really shows you how deep the sickness is, how deep the sickness of MAGA has rotted the minds of not only Republicans, but also, the minds of the younger people from areas that may be heavily populated with Trump supporters, bigots, Islamophobes, homophobes, whatever you know what I'm saying. So here we go.
You and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills, because that's the whole thing.
How do you know?
Carl Schmitt
Autocrats tend to kill.
No, because he's white, Mehdi. I think the answer that both you and I were looking for there is because he's white. He's not going to be part of the group that is killed. He's not going to be part of the group that is sent to concentration camps in other countries, because he's white, because he's Christian. That's why he believes that. That is his firm belief. And I think that's what Mehdi is trying to get out of him here, as far as his answer.
Oh, everyone.
Carl Schmitt makes this point very well in his work. It's the friend-enemy distinction, right?
Carl Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carl Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician, for you that don't know, is, again, who this gentleman is referencing here. He also brings up Franco, in which, we all know that Hitler pretty much tested his Luftwaffe, his brand new Luftwaffe, by helping Franco in the Spanish Civil War there. Let me see if I can just bring up a little bit of history here, because this is really kind of my shtick. Let me see if I can find something here. Just a little quick reference for you guys here. So when he brings up Franco, and I'll make this bigger on the screen so you guys can see if I can even zoom in just a little bit for you guys here. All right, so during the Spanish Civil War, Hitler's Germany actively supported Franco's nationalist forces with military aid, including troops, weapons, and aircraft. The support was motivated by the desire to combat communism, test military technologies, and potentially secure a fascist ally in Spain. While Franco initially maintained a neutral stance during World War II, his regime's non-belligerence leaned towards the Axis powers with limited material support and deployment of the Blue Division to the Eastern Front. Ultimately, Spain remained officially neutral in World War II, but its relationship with Germany was complex and multifaceted. So again, when they bring up the Nazi theorist Franco, You understand the point of view. You understand the mindset of this kid a little bit more than you would if you didn't know the history behind what he's talking about. So, all right, let's get back into this. Just a little sidetrack, a little note, a little fact, a little history on that one.
Absolutely, I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at all.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of.
They persecuted the church a little bit. Okay, I'm going to need that one more time, ladies and gentlemen, just for confirmation. We're talking about the atrocities, or excuse me, Mehdi's bringing up the atrocities committed by the Nazis, right? Out of all the things that you could say that the Nazis did, all the things, all the inhumane, all the genocidal, all the sick and disgusting, medical experiments, so many things that you could talk about as it pertains to Jews, gypsies, Russians, you name it, anybody that was gay, anybody that had, physical deformities, mental disabilities, you name it, they killed them. And this gentleman, this asshole, this bigoted, racist piece of shit, Nazi-loving human being sitting in front of Mehdi Hasan right now, brings that up, but only in relation to the church that was persecuted. But as we all know, the church actually had a huge role in helping the Nazis. So I don't know what this kid's talking about. I don't know what history he's learning about. But I'd say he needs to go back and take a look at the role of the church as it pertains to helping the Nazis and maybe helping people escape Germany. I think he needs to go back and do a little bit more reading. But just one more time, from a Nazi lover who says it himself that he loves Nazis, Republican Nazi lover, from his mouth, talking about the Holocaust, talking about the atrocities committed by the Nazis, but only in relation to what they did to the church. You can tell he doesn't even want to say that much.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I don't. I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at all.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
I don't mind being called a Nazi at all. One more time, again.
Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I don't. I frankly don't care being called a Nazi.
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at all. Said who other than Nazis? Nobody's ever said that in the world unless you consider yourself a Nazi, love the Nazis, or want to be one, or were one.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not.
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit is not a competent, mentally sane person's response to what Mehdi Hasan just said. By any means.
Not a fan of that, but
what about the persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support.
Can we? All right. Can you? All right. It's the apparent nature in which they're not scared to be so outright, to be so like blatant about their like Nazi loving policies, their Nazi loving beliefs. Like that's the time. That's what Donald Trump, by taking over the Republican Party, has created. Like these are the Republicans now, are people that are just, unashamedly coming out as pro-Nazi. Like that's where we are right now as far as Republicans. And there is no difference between MAGA and Republicans. MAGA are Republicans. Republicans are MAGA. If you voted for Trump, you are MAGA. You are to blame for this. You are the reason we are in this position. And you have helped stoke and create people just like this and beliefs just like this kid and what he espouses right here. And it's pretty fucking sick to see where the Republican Party is at right now.
For anyone's human dignity being assaulted, I'm a Catholic.
But you don't condemn not.
I'm a Catholic. Imagine saying that after basically failing to call out the Nazis' atrocities, the Nazis' persecution of the Jews. Imagine saying that. Imagine, like, proudly claiming and espousing that you're a Christian, you're a Catholic, you're a religious man. After saying what he just said, he doesn't mind being called a Nazi. He doesn't, he really doesn't even want to call out the persecution of the Jews. And basically the only reason the Nazis were bad is because they did a couple bad things with the church as far as this kid is concerned, because he doesn't know real history. Can you fucking imagine a party going that far south? Jesus Christ.
See persecution of the Jews.
I think that there was a little bit of persecution and stuff like that.
I think there was a little bit of persecution. I'm sorry. I'm going to put that on the big screen, and I'm going to run that back one more time for you guys. All right.
I think that there was a little bit of persecution and
We
stuff
may
like
have
that,
to
which is
rename
bad.
this show
But
because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
hey, what can I say?
Wow. I mean, we're talking about a kid talking to Mehdi Hasan, someone very well known, someone very prominent, on a show that typically gets a ton of views, sitting there with bright lights in front of a camera, with a microphone, in front of peers, unabashedly calling himself a Nazi, a proud Nazi. Like, it's amazing to me that we have come so far. We are that far removed from World War II and the destruction that was caused by Nazism and the sacrifices made by beautiful people in this country to put their lives on hold and in many cases, sacrifice their life in order for the continuation of democracy in Europe, so that the United States could build what it has now. And we're just completely thrown that all away with one fucking president, by electing one man, from one man entering the political zeitgeist in the fucking United States. Because one man entered this political arena, we are now back to having kids, guys, sit in front of cameras and proudly proclaim themselves as Nazis. That's where we are.
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, and the maniacal fucking Tucker Carlson laugh after this is just beyond right the pale. Check this fucking nonsense out. Here we go. Doesn't mind being called a fascist. Doesn't mind being called a Nazi, because you are one.
You have to rename this show because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone is on this.
Yeah, so
where do they find these people?
I don't know.
I mean, and that's excuse me, and I'm blanking on her name. I think it's Emily. I believe it's Emily on the left here, and she's again the Republican, the conservative talking figure on this show. And even she's like, where the hell do they find these people, right? Even she is like, what the is going on right now? It's just, it's crazy. And there's more clips to come from this. Let me see if I can skip ahead. Again, because we have so much to get to, I don't mind. I would really enjoy hearing their take on this, but unfortunately I don't have time on my own show to listen to it. So let's see if I can skip ahead here to where they re-enter the conversation, re-enter the debate between Mehdi Hasan on Jubilee. Let's get back into it.
Oh, let's take a listen.
This is a very simplistic understanding of economics because you're
explain I'm wrong.
I'm telling you how you're wrong. Because you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs through their presence.
1/5 of their monthly income leaves the country.
That's a good thing also because you don't like US aid, foreign aid. So this is the point. They create jobs. I came into this country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like. I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come here and say all this bullshit about how Americans are lazy.
Why?
You push your left-wing
I never
politics.
said Americans are lazy.
I don't know why you say this.
I never said Americans are lazy.
Yes, you are. You're saying immigrants have to come
into
into this country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do. That's exactly what you said.
When did I say it?
Really?
When did I say it?
So
on YouTube. Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants are doing jobs we don't want to do. When did I say those words? Words that came out of my mouth.
Okay, so why do we have to bring in immigrants? Why do we have to bring in immigrants to the country if we have people who are going to do the jobs?
So for anybody that's not familiar with the setup or the show, basically the people are given red flags. And apparently when enough red flags are raised, either because of I think it's what the contestant there, the person debating Mehdi is saying, if they disagree, or if they think, something is wrong in what they said, they can raise their red flag. And apparently if there's enough red flags raised, the person gets removed from the seat and the next person hops up there. But apparently, like you just saw, this guy has absolutely no problem telling Mehdi Hasan to get out of the country. Here, let's see if we go back just 1 second. Ready? So at the beginning of this, you heard him say, get out of the country. If you're an immigrant, get out of the country, right? Again, bigoted, just outright bigoted bigotry in front of cameras, in front of microphones, spotlights, to be seen by millions of people at the time. Let's see here. I can actually go see. I'm pretty sure that clip, that video is already well over 1 million views. Let's see here. I'll go to the actual video. Stop it instead. Share this tab instead. So right now, this has 4.46 million views, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So you're on a show. You're on a YouTube show. I don't care what kind of show, if it's going to be seen by 4.5 million people. And you're just outright calling yourself a Nazi, outright saying, immigrants should not be here. Like, that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why I do this show, is because this is where we are in the political arena nowadays. These are the people that we are fighting against. They are outright fascists. They are outright authoritarians. They are outright bigots, Islamophobes. They are outright homophobes. They are outright anti-women. And we've been telling you this for years now. And it's because one person, and again, I'm not saying that the Republicans didn't have issues like this before. I'm not saying they didn't have people, very much like Donald Trump. But we have to come to terms in reality and say that because one man entered this political arena, the political the space has changed so much and so dramatically because of that one man, because of Donald Trump, and what he has allowed to have happen with the Republican Party, what he has literally instructed and coached and molded the Republican Party into is a problem, is a fucking problem. And again, that's why I do the show, to call this shit out. But 4.5 million views, and these people just don't give a shit what they're saying, don't give a shit who sees it. They just don't care. So let's see if we get back into this, and just see a couple more moments from this, and then we'll move on to our next story. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics, the political podcast that, again, sifts through the propaganda and the lies of the GOP, Donald Trump, the mainstream media, breaks it down for normal people like you and me, because that is who is affected by these policies. So thank you so much for being here. We're on our way to 15,000 subscribers. Again, hit the like button. This is truly independent media. Thank you, guys.
Because explain I'm wrong. I'm telling you how you're wrong. Because you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs through their presence.
About 1/5 of their monthly income leaves the country.
That's a good thing also, because you don't like USA foreign aid. So this is the point. They create jobs. I came into this country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I mean, right there. Whether he's joking or not doesn't seem to be in my mind. But again, I think Mehdi even gives him the opportunity to kind of, walk back the statement afterwards. And he doesn't give a shit. He wants you out. He wants you out because you're brown, because your last name sounds foreign, because you speak Spanish, because you don't speak English, because you have an accent, whatever it may be. He wants you out of this country. And that is literally straight from the policies coming from ICE, Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, Donald Trump, and this fucking Republican Party.
I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come here and say all this bullshit about how Americans are lazy.
Why?
You push your left-wing
I never
politics.
said Americans are lazy.
I don't know why.
And again, his argument as to why he should leave literally has no bearing on anything that Mehdi Hasan has said in this debate. Again, he's trying to pull what Republicans see as a left-wing talking point, and they try to use that against everybody, regardless if you even espouse that belief, regardless if you even say that. because they're, a fear of losing in a debate. They will pull out and use any tactic they possibly can, as we discuss on the show a lot.
You say this. I never said Americans
yes,
are lazy.
you are. You're saying
attacking
immigrants have to come into this country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do. That's exactly what you said.
When did I say it?
Really?
When did I say it?
And it's not even what people say. That's literally the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is that immigrants keep this country running. The reality of the situation is that they happen and tend to do the dirty jobs, the hard labor jobs that Americans tend to stay away from, whether it be through laziness, whether it be from, I don't know, whatever you want to fucking call it. But we don't do those jobs, and those jobs are vital and critical to sustaining our country's, country running in a smooth way. To continue to put food in the supermarkets, right? To continue to get the animals to the slaughter, to make sure that the vegetables are still growing, to make sure that, I don't know, whatever it may be, the weeds are cut. Name a job that you think is mainly done by immigrant labor in this country that is vital. And if you take those immigrants away, it's not like Americans are going to be fucking rushing and fleeing to go then do those jobs, working in the fields for long hours, sitting in the sun, or whatever it may be, roofing, whatever. Name your area of expertise in which immigrants are very vital, which there are a fucking lot. And you will find that we cannot afford to just remove them from this country because, again, Americans are not rushing to the fields to do these jobs anytime soon. I can tell you that much.
Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants are doing jobs we don't want to do. When did I say those words? Words that came out of my mouth.
Okay, so why do we have to bring in immigrants? Why do we have to bring in immigrants to the country if we have people who are going to do the jobs?
Pause. You've been voted out.
It's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
You're gonna have to go.
It's amazing to me, and fucking credit where credit is due to Mehdi. Not only for his debating skills, because he is one of the best in the world, I believe, at debate, at recalling facts, at recalling figures, at recalling moments in time that, again, help his argument, help his debate. But also, again, his ability to shake the kid's hand there, because I fucking absolutely don't know if I would have done that in that same position. I'm sure I would have. But again, I think I would have had a lot more to say as it pertains to, I don't know, coming back at that kid directly for his bigoted statements. And again, I know Mehdi's professional, keeps it, 100, keeps it along the lines, keeps it about the facts, keeps it about the policies. And again, that's why, credit where credit is due, because I don't think I would have had the self-restraint to sit and listen to bullshit like that being spewed right to my face. I really don't know if I could have. So let's see who is the next fascist and authoritarian on the list to be destroyed by Mehdi.
Talking to you. You're gonna have to go, bro, is what he said as I left, to an American citizen. Good to know.
Wow. So, but under his breath, apparently, without the microphone picking up, he said, "You got to go," to Mehdi on the way out. Again, just another example of Mehdi being able to keep his cool in that situation. Let's see if there's any more clips that they play here, because I'm sure there's a few more here from this. Here's another one. So let's see if we can get into this one as well.
Everyone in Gaza is Hamas and they all deserve to die. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
You got to let me finish.
No, you got to answer the question. Fourth time.
Well,
when Israeli snipers shoot Palestinian children in the head. We're running out of time. I need to know what you think about innocent children. Because what you said was pretty outrageous. You said so-called innocent Palestinians. For the fifth time, when Palestinian children are shot in the head by Israeli snipers, is that not the fault of Israeli snipers?
What did those children do?
What did you tell me? Did the children deserve to be shot in the head?
Because the problem is, over there,
millions of people are watching you say
they start brainwashing children. They start
again. No sane person in response to a correct accounting, in case you guys are wondering, a correct accounting by Mehdi Hasan, right, of Palestinian children being shot in the head by the IDF seeking aid. And your response to that question, your response to that fact, that statement, that reality is, what did the children do? Again, if we're not exposing here the mindset of Republicans, of so-called conservatives, of the MAGA movement, with these statements that we're now hearing, bold, loud for the fucking microphone to hear, with his fucking 10 toes down, with his face in the fucking camera so people know who said it, even though he's looking like a fucking cartoon figure. I mean, this is where we're at right now. This is what the other side is. This is why we fight so hard to make sure that, people vote for Democrats, vote for leaders that are going to help themselves, that have at least the best policies that we have to choose from at the moment, by far, so that we stay away from having these people anywhere near positions of power, so that we don't have the Stephen Millers and Tom Homans and Pam Bondis and Dan Bonginos and Kash Patels and fucking Tulsi Gabbards and the rest of these fucking degenerates who believe things just like this. Project 2025 was written on beliefs just like this. This is Project 2025 personified right here, ladies and gentlemen, by young Republicans, by young conservatives, molded with their minds molded by Donald Trump over the last fucking 10 or so years of him being in our political arena. So we'll get to this story next, but I just wanted to let you know that no, Mehdi Hasan is not lying. No, Mehdi Hasan is not making this up. No, he's not wrong. And no, a fucking normal response to this question is not, what did the children do? Frankly, that's fucking absolutely disgusting and horrifying that is the fucking response, that's your question to this.
Are brainwashing children at a very young age.
So you support sniping children in Gaza?
Look,
do other people here support sniping children in Gaza? Is that a conservative position now?
What if they're wearing a suicide vest?
They weren't.
But what if they are?
They're not, though.
What if
of children. I have friends who went there. Doctors went to Gaza. American doctors. They came back as we were multiple children.
What if they're hell-bent?
Shots.
What if they're hell-bent on killing you and your family?
A 10-year-old child, an 8-year-old child, a 6-year-old child.
Because
this is
like
bad for you. You're sitting on
they're
live television where millions of people are going to see your neighbors, your friends. You support the killing of children.
Millions of people don't know what's going on.
Even your fellow right-wingers are saying, don't go this far. Like genocide, sure, but don't
millions of people
kids.
Don't understand the brainwashing that is going on in Islamic Republic and in Palestine to create this hatred.
You're obsessed with Iran so much that you're supporting the killing of Palestinian children who never harmed you or any other Israeli. That's insane.
And that,
I mean, that is just absolutely fucking crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fucking crazy. And that is, again, on top of the news here. Let's see here. There was a story out that the WHO, the World Health Organization, says it was targeted at least 3 times in the last few days by the IDF. That's on top of, again, the stories that we were just showing about the Israeli military taking out and gunning down people that were just, there to get aid, there to get food. See here, 1 month ago, I'm trying to find the story that it says. Targets new operations. That's April 30th, 1 day ago. IDF hits Houthi targets as Yemeni Hodeidah port. That's not what I'm looking for. There was a story. I'm not going to be able to find it in time. I don't want to take too long on you guys, but there's a story out of the WHO, the World Health Organization, again saying that it's been targeted. I believe the number was 3 times by the IDF. I'm just going to show again the tyrannical genocidal run that Benjamin Netanyahu is on, because his best friend now is running the White House, and again he faces no repercussions, faces no pushback for anything that he's now doing, because Donald Trump's a fucking weakling, a fucking weak, small, pathetic man that's desperately on his way to his casket. All right, let's see if there's any more clips in this for you guys. Back to this as well. Let's see here. My apologies if there's not. All right, so I think that's it on their coverage of it. Let me see if I can go back to here. This is now, again, we'll see what dim tool, stupid fool, is talking about, because he has something to say on this. And again, the fact that he's not continuously talking about Obama and Russia, just goes to show that Donald Trump's attempt at distraction isn't really working. And I know this isn't anything about Epstein, but again, it's also nothing about Obama. It's also nothing about Tulsi Gabbard. It's also nothing about, Russia. So I think that Donald Trump would very much like everybody that's under his wing, as far as right-wing commentators, to be speaking about Obama, but they're really not. I don't think it's picking up as far as they want. So let's see what dim fool, stupid tool, Mr. Hat in July is saying about this Jubilee with Mehdi Hasan again in 20 apparent outright fascist, bigots, racists, homophobes, just genocidal freaks, apparently is who Jubilee was going for in this one. They must have reached out to every fucking, as Donald Trump would say, insane asylum. They're coming from mental institutions, insane asylums. Apparently, Jubilee has taken on the same policy as far as getting Republicans and conservatives onto their show.
On Jubilee Surrounded, it was one progressive versus 20 far-right conservatives. And Mehdi, I respect his talent and capabilities in this field, but boy, is this a stupid game. I'm not a big fan of Jubilee's format. I respect and appreciate what they're trying to do. I think it is biased. I don't think it really works.
It's horseshit. It's a fucking another version of Piers Morgan, who, again, credit where credit is due, because Jubilee, much like Piers Morgan, seems to understand what the audience wants, what the audience likes viewing, and that is pretty much political combat, right? That is the most outrageous views. That is, people on both sides yelling and screaming at each other. This is, basically head-to-head combat as far as politics is concerned. And again, Piers Morgan has found this out, gets shitload of views. Jubilee has found this out, gets shitload of views. But we get nowhere from it, right? It is not beneficial in any way. It does not help us get out of these, monstrous and potentially dangerous situations that we face with the Republican Party. Like, I know, again, one thing I agree with Tim here, and probably the only thing that I'll agree with him here on this one is, I give Mehdi a lot of credit for going into this and facing these people, because it's obviously not an easy thing to do. You got to know your shit. You have to, again, be able to stay calm and cool and collected because you're facing freaks. But again, I don't think that we really gain anything from this. I don't think there's any benefit from it. I think it's just basically another form of political boxing. It's basically UFC, but for politics, as far as I'm concerned. But again, I don't know what Tim's talking about. Mehdi does an incredible job here, as he always does. So again, let's see Tim try to spin this in a way that I guess shows, or at least tries to say that Mehdi lost or didn't come out of this looking good. So let's see what Tim has to say.
But Mehdi Hasan shows up and he makes a couple of claims. One, that Donald Trump is pro-crime. You know what, man?
It's very true, Kay. That's very true. I mean, he does have like Emma Vigeland. He's had Luke Beasley. But usually, typically, his shows are just him and his 5 asshole friends. I know he's got several different podcasts, several different channels that do different things. But Jubilee is strictly, and Piers Morgan is strictly just get 2 people, 2 groups from the opposite side, or 2 people from the opposite side, and have them go head to head in the arena, one-on-one, no holds barred, yelling and screaming. Piers Morgan kind of pretends to try to get things under control, but really he's just an added right-wing, an added MAGA commentator on his own show. So basically, if there's 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats or 2 lefties on the show, there's really 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats on the show, or lefties, because Pierce is obviously heavily involved and deeply implanted inside of Donald Trump's asshole. All right, so here we go.
Sometimes you find these breakout stars on Jubilee. But there's a reason why Mehdi Hasan is a prominent personality on the left, and there's a reason why I'm a prominent personality associated with the conservatarian sect. The reason I say that is because the right is a bit more disparate than the progressive left, and I'm not a staunch MAGA conservative, but in a similar space. I digress. The reason why is because we are both people who dedicate our time and energy specifically towards researching these topics and debating them. Now, Mehdi, however, does exactly what you'd expect of progressives.
I mean, we got to laugh at the fact that Tim just said he researches anything. Right? The man that said Ukraine is our biggest enemy is now going to try to tell me that he's researched things. The man that was absolutely dismantled by Luke Beasley, the man that was absolutely dismantled by Emma Vigeland and any other lefty or progressive that that he debates. It's fucking hilarious to me that he thinks, after everything he's been wrong about, the 50 state, didn't he say, was it this asshole? Was it Tim? I forget now, these assholes. Was it Tim that said it was going to be a 50-state sweep or like a 49-state sweep by fucking Donald Trump in 20? I forget if it was 2016 or 2020. I think it was Tim. But that's the guy right now that's telling us, he does his research and that he's like Mehdi Hasan in some regard because he's affiliated with the conservative movement, apparently. Yeah, good one, Tim.
Liberals. These are not real arguments. There's no actual attempt at understanding. And this is what I just cannot stand. And I lose all faith in humanity on. Now, I only have so much time, so I'm not going to play a 2-hour-long debate commenting on literally everything. That video would be 8 hours long, but...
I wonder if Tim's going to play, and I'm going to speed this up again so we can get through as much as possible. But do you think Tim plays the parts where these people, call Mehdi an immigrant, tell him to leave the country, or say they have no problem being called fascist, no problem being called a Nazi, have no problem with what the Nazis did, only what they did to the Catholic Church, or what they think they did to the Catholic Church? You think he's going to play any of those clips? I wonder. Let's see.
Actually, you know what? That's a really good idea for a show. Me and the boys turn the big screen, and then we comment with microphones like Mystery Science Theater at Address. I'm going to challenge some of his ideas because I feel like, when I watch these shows, me, I got all the opinions in the world, even when they're wrong. And I see this from Mehdi, and I'm like, this is not legit, okay? The arguments that he's making are not legitimate. And what I mean is, it's not that he's wrong, it's that the premise is stupid. So let's start with his first stupid.
It's not that he's wrong, it's that the premise is stupid. All right, you guys ready? Again, these guys we're always learning from these people. Get your pens, get your fucking notepads. We're going to school. Tim Pool's School for Fools. You have now entered Tim Pool's School for Fools. So please get your writing utensils and get a piece of paper because we are now about to learn why Dim Fool thinks Mehdi Hasan's arguments weren't I guess proper to be used in this situation. All right, let's see.
Claim that Donald Trump is pro-crime. And then I want to address immigration. Because the one thing I really can't stand about all of these debates.
I'm sorry. Was the first thing that Donald Trump isn't pro-crime? The man that has 34 fucking felony counts? I'm sorry. The man that has been credibly found to have sexually assaulted E. Jean Carroll and then went on to defame E. Jean Carroll twice after that. The man that, cheated on his wife that gave birth to his son with the porn star just 5 months after his wife gave birth to that son. The man that said he can grab women in the crotch area without consent because he's famous, because he's a star and they let you do it. You're going to tell me that? You're going to try to argue that he's not pro-crime? The guy that literally incited an insurrection against the United States government in which led to death, in which led to a gallows, a fucking actual gallows. People forget that. We had an actual gallows built on the fucking White House, on the Capitol grounds in the year of our Lord 2020. An actual gallows. People forget that. But yeah, somehow that guy's not pro-crime. The guy that, again, pardoned the people that stormed the Capitol. Like, what are we talking about, Tim? I couldn't even believe he let off with that. I thought I was fucking hearing things.
Mehdi Hasan comes out and says, immigrants make us money. And my only response to that is, Mehdi, it's not always about money, isn't it? They play this really funny clip.
Well, that's funny. That's funny, Tim, because it was about money when you took money from that, the Russian media. What was it called? Tenet Media. When you took money from Tenet Media, something like, what was it, $4 or $5 million, something crazy like a fucking $100,000 an episode, something ridiculous. It was about the money then. When you thought it was just like French billionaire, this billionaire that you had no idea who it was and you really couldn't tell. You never spoke to him. It was kind of shady dealings. You had no problem talking about money then. It was about the money when you fucking took it from Tenet Media that was fucking getting it straight from the Kremlin, Tim. Then it was about the money, but now it's not about the money when we talk about the benefit that immigrants provide in our system, about the tax revenue that they provide, about the buying things and helping our economy as it pertains to living in your neighborhood or whatever it may be, doing the jobs. Yes, they send money back home, and again, like Mehdi Hasan said, for people that don't like the fact that the United States has to send aid to different countries, you should like that. But they also contribute a shitload to our fucking tax system without seeing any benefit from it themselves, right? Without being able to use any of the benefits they put into our system while doing the jobs that keep this country running. So Tim's now going to try to, I guess, explain to me why that's not a proper argument for Mehdi to use in this situation. So here we go, Tim. Take it away. Continue, please, at some point.
Where he's like, I'm an immigrant. The guy goes, get out. I don't want you here. Well, that's not effective debating.
My first claim is Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal.
Okay. I know where this is going. He's literally talking about.
And again, for anybody that doesn't know the setup of the show, this is, Mehdi Hasan probably came in with a few questions or his few statements. And again, those statements will be what they debate. And then I guess it's the first person to the chair or the first person to raise the flag, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. But this is it right here. So Tim, I guess, is trying to pick apart, not the debate, I guess, but the comments that Mehdi Hasan decided to come into this debate with.
January 6th, and this is just stupid. The first and most obvious thing is that anybody who pardons anybody, it's a special case. It doesn't mean they're pro-crime across the...
No. I've yet to have heard of a guy, and I'm sure it's probably, there's a situation out there as it pertains to, I don't know, who knows, Nixon or any other fucking corrupt president that we've had. But I don't know of another situation where the president that actually incited the insurrection then went on to pardon those insurrectionists himself, Tim. I think we can consider this a pretty unique situation in the fucking history of the United States. And we can maybe look at that through a different lens than we would, I don't know, other pardons, right? A president pardoning somebody he doesn't know because of a wrongful conviction. A pardon for, I don't know, even talking about Joe Biden pardoning his family because of the political persecution threatened by Donald Trump in his administration that we're now seeing take place with his fucking threats on Obama, with his threats to Comey, with his threats to Brennan, with his threats to Hillary, right? This is exactly why Joe Biden, whatever problem you had, whether you agreed or disagreed with the pardons he gave to his family or the preemptive pardons he gave to other people. But this is exactly why those pardons exist. That's exactly why people like Harry Dunn, who I believe on our show, told us that he himself got a preemptive pardon by President Biden. Right? That's why. Whether you agree with it or not is a side conversation. That's a different topic. But this is why it was done.
Board. Mehdi Hasan's argument is largely Donald Trump pardoned some really bad people. Therefore, all criminals everywhere he's in favor of.
No, a pro-crime president is somebody that in any way, in any example, showed, a decency, showed compassion to criminals and let them out of jail, or didn't convict somebody, or let something slide, or committed a crime himself. That's what we're talking about, Tim. And again, just because Mehdi Hasan's bringing up January 6th does not mean that is the only example. Again, the man has 34 fucking felony counts. Again, the man has been credibly accused and found to have sexually assaulted E. Jean Carroll. We're not talking about January 6th, even though that is a huge part of it and should be the only example needed in this situation. Shouldn't have to go any further than that. But that's not the only example, Tim, and you damn well know it.
Why are we wasting our time with this? Does any reasonable person see this?
Oh, that kind of sounds like Charlie Kirk and Jeffrey Epstein situation. Why are we wasting that time with this? This is crazy. Why are we still talking about that time that the president told his followers to storm the Capitol? They killed Capitol police officers, shit on the floors, tore down fucking pictures, stole information, tried to kill politicians. Why are we still talking about that? Well, it's just that little thing.
And say, that makes sense. No, the reality is there are people who are tribalist, who are going to hear what Mehdi says and are liberal or progressive, and they go, I agree with Mehdi Hasan. Now, here's the stupid thing about Jubilee I always criticize. Come on, like this dude right here ain't getting that chair. What's the point of this?
All right. Tim, fuck. 2 points I agree with you on. I have to agree with you on that one because it's kind of like musical chairs, and it's like the first one to the chair. How the fuck are you going to get to that chair if you're sitting behind Mehdi Hasan? So, Tim, shit. Second point, I agree with you, but it has absolutely nothing to do with politics or policy. So I guess I'm still in the clear.
We need a countdown for this. Oh, look, the guy literally sitting next to it. Got it.
All right, good, because we didn't see any clips from this one. So let's see if we can get to see a couple more instances of fascism here.
To meet you, I'm Mehdi.
I would just like to ask, what makes someone pro-crime versus, anti-crime?
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not a whole... try to figure somebody out by their looks. I know that you can't judge a book by its cover, but I don't know. I would say lefty. I would say lefty. If just by looks alone, I'm sorry. I would say the guy probably tends to lean left on his politics might even have a boyfriend. But that's just me, and I accept it, and it would be no problem. But that is just, it's just weird to see some of the people, and this happened in a few Jubilee episodes, whereas like, you know, and then again, don't judge a book by its cover, and we're not trying to pick people apart for their looks, but, you know, you can't help but be like, okay, that person tends to look like, you know, what I picture in my mind, a Republican or a conservative or somebody that lives down south that espouses, you know, some sort of racist beliefs would tend to look like, you know what I mean? Or the opposite, you know, maybe that guy would probably vote left, or, you know, maybe that guy would kind of get it. And I don't, you know, it's just weird to me because it's happened again on a few of these Jubilees where you're like, wow, surprised that that guy or that kid, whatever you want to call him, is espousing those views. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't compute really.
What makes someone pro-crime versus, you know, anti-crime?
I think when you're soft on criminals, when you let criminals out of prison, when you pardon people who assaulted police officers, you're pro-criminal. Donald Trump pardoned almost 1,600 people who were involved in January the 6th. I think 600 of them had been charged with assaulting a police officer or obstructing a police officer. 170 had pled guilty to assaulting a police officer. 70 had pled guilty to assault with a deadly weapon. J.D. Vance said, we're not going to pardon the violent criminals from January 6th. Donald Trump pardoned all of them. Are you okay with that?
I say yes. Here's my response. Yes, I am.
Well, good, Tim, because nobody's watching it to get your fucking take on this. I kind of wanted to hear what the kid had to say because he seemed like he wouldn't be okay with it because that long kind of gives me reason to believe that he might be against it. But of course, now Tim, who says he's independent, we're going to listen to this independent commentator here that doesn't lean left or right. If you want to listen to what Tim Pool's bullshit says, tell us why January 6th wasn't a big deal and he has no problem with President Trump, with Donald Trump, pardoning the criminals from January 6th. Take it away, Tim.
How long is long enough for assaulting an officer? Even the most egregious ones. In one instance, Mehdi Hasan references a guy who was accused of stomping on an officer's head. I mean, that's really, really bad. I would say this. 3 years in jail for battery. Now, don't get me wrong. Assault with a deadly weapon.
Tim, guess what? Nobody gives a flying fuck what you think the correct sentence and the correct term should be for any crime. We don't give a shit how many years you think somebody should get for fucking jaywalking. I don't give a shit about, I don't care what they do. We don't care how long you think they should be away. Fucking totally irrelevant to the conversation. You're not a fucking legal scholar. You're not a lawyer. You're not a judge. So shut the fuck up.
It's interesting, but guilty pleas in and of themselves are not proof that the person actually did it. And I don't think Mehdi Hasan would want to make that argument in every other case when you have tons of individuals in prison in Chicago, LA, and New York who pleaded guilty despite being innocent or the charges being trumped up because they were scared of what's called the trial tax or the jury tax. So let me just say this. What a silly argument, Mehdi Hasan. Simply because Donald Trump pardoned the J6ers does not mean he's pro-crime. He's pro his own personal.
And what a silly fucking argument, Tim Pool, to think that because Mehdi Hasan only has a certain amount of time and you've only watched about fucking 30 seconds of it, to believe that that's his only example, that's his only fucking bit of ammunition he's got stuck in his holster to come out with, to say that Donald Trump, or to prove that Donald Trump is a pro-crime president, is just a fucking scumbag, corrupt. I mean, he's been known as corrupt for his whole life. What are we talking about here? Corruption is pro-crime. He's corrupt. We've known backdoor deals, fucking dealings with the mob. The list goes on. What the fuck are we talking about here? All his shell companies, his dealings with Deutsche Bank. I mean, what the fuck? He was known as fucking, what was his nickname in New York City? He had a nickname in New York City, and I'm blanking on it. Before he even started running for politics, he was known as a douchebag.
A porter.
Probably douchebag Don.
By all means, call him biased and say he's not seeking out other individuals who have engaged in comparable crimes and did comparable.
Yeah, right, Big Steph, the king of debt. I mean, the guy is just nothing but pro-crime. He's been nothing but corrupt his whole life. Roy Cohn. I mean, literally the guy taught him the art of corruption, you know?
This was a personal issue to him. With that being said, there were 2 lawyers in New York who were giving out Molotov cocktails, and they got sweetheart deals. I'm not going to sit here and say they're so.
All right, so let's see. Does he play this again? See if he plays another clip, because I don't give a fuck what he has to say. All right, let's see here.
Regards to the Constitution is a document that should seek to serve us. And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed. And quite frankly, the fact is, we're defending things in this country that shouldn't be defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized. Making women and children be victimized as a result of that. I think things like
I'm sorry. The First Amendment should not defend pornography? That's where we got into this? Like, that's where we went? We've gone from Gaza to January 6th to fucking this? What are we talking about?
Blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that quite frankly,
blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. So no free speech, apparently. Free speech does not exist. The separation of church and state does not exist. Thank you, JD. Appreciate you, buddy. I'm going to need that. I apologize. I am going to need that. Thank you to everybody that's gifted, everybody that's come out with a super sticker, super chat, got your milestone for your membership. You guys fucking rock. You always do. I appreciate it. You have been so supportive and really so generous that, you know, it's really, you know, it's a shock to me that, you know, we can build a community as tight as you know, as tight knit as we have here for you guys. So I appreciate you guys. Continue on with your, you know, your memberships. I really do appreciate it. You can, again, if you haven't yet, become a channel member just underneath me for $2.99 a month, less than you pay for a gallon of gas in a lot of places right now. For, you know, to help independent media, I would really appreciate it. But yeah, so the party of free speech doesn't actually mean free speech, ladies and gentlemen. So you can't say God damn it, you know, you can't say Jesus Christ. Those not free speech, right? Those are kind of like now yelling fire in a crowded theater. But that whole separation of church and state thing, I don't know. We might have a little issue on that one, my friend. Just a little bit.
There are a lot of legal processes that are enabling criminals and bad people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution. So, quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully revealing of the modern conservative mindset. So I appreciate you spelling it out.
It's one guy, Mehdi, revealing of the modern conservative mindset because you debated one guy. Calm.
Well, I think everybody cheering in the background, and I think the other people that Mehdi has debated in his fucking career is leading him to that statement, Tim. I don't think he's just, you know, pulling it out of his ass because he spoke to this one douchebag, right? I'm pretty sure he's now like, oh yeah, all of you guys think this. There's people clapping all over the place to the bullshit that this guy's saying behind me. So I don't think it's very hard for him to be like, apparently the stuff that this guy's saying is liked by the majority of people in this room. Therefore, it kind of gives me a good idea as to the mindset of you fools, you know, before I even get a chance to talk to you, really.
Down. It's a sophistry.
Openly. Just checking. Do you support the Second Amendment?
I do.
Okay. Surprise. I was shocked to hear that. I'm saying that Donald Trump is defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's thinking of defying the 12th and 22nd Amendments. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do because you quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and
whenever it's in your favor.
Right. So again, we understand what he's saying here, and we watched a little bit of this kid before. And if you're just joining us, go back and watch these kids, these guys, whatever you want to call them, these fascists, these Nazis. Really just fucking sickening in how blatant they are and how happy and proud they are to call themselves bigots and, you know, fucking Islamophobes, Nazis, whatever you want to call them. They're happy to accept that because their party now has molded their beliefs into thinking that is what's right. That is the way this party is going as far as the Republican Party. So in order to, you know, get ahead, in order to get, you know, your YouTube channel success, you're going to have to start espousing some of these crazy views. And, you know, this kid here saying that, you know, he's willing to change the Constitution, but only the parts that he likes stays, and then he gets to change what he doesn't like. Just goes to show how authoritarian and fascist these people really, really are.
Yeah, of course. So can Democrats do the same when they're in office?
Absolutely. No, absolutely not. Because
so you don't believe in democracy?
You hear that? So Mehdi's next question. So can Democrats do that if they get into office, if they get into power? The response? Absolutely not. You hear that? One more time. One more time from this fucking douchebag.
Whenever it's in your favor.
Yeah,
of course. So can Democrats do the same when they're in
office?
Absolutely.
No, absolutely not.
So you don't believe in democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
By who?
Honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
So in autocracy, oh, thank you, John. Appreciate that, buddy. Appreciate that, my man. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. I appreciate that. And you too can be just like John. Just like John. And anybody that I missed, if anybody has gifted, if anybody sent a super sticker or super chat, stick around to the end of the show because that's when we highlight all of the contributions by you lovely and fabulous people. Any that I missed, go by in the chat because it does go by pretty fast. And if I don't catch it, I apologize. But yeah, he just wants an autocracy from anybody that has representation in the Catholic Church, anybody that believes that abortion shouldn't be a thing, that women should live in the kitchen. You know, the list goes on. You know this. He has no regrets. No regrets. Or if you've seen We're the Millers, no regrets about espousing these beliefs on camera for nearly 5 million people to see. And that is, to me, as long as I've been covering this shit, still pretty shocking. It really is. To see going from studying World War II to see now in 2025, American citizens, young American citizens, actively supporting Nazism, actively supporting and denying what the Nazis did, just does not compute in my mind. It does not make sense, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that we have come this far, the fact that we have reversed so far as the Republicans, and I'm not, putting this on you guys because I understand that you guys are, well informed and understand how much of this is bullshit. But it's still crazy to hear. It really is.
Donald Trump is not Catholic.
Of course, he's not. I completely agree.
So
and
you
that's part of
support
the problem.
Trump? You don't support Trump?
No, I don't. I didn't even vote for him. I wrote in like John Pork or someone. I can't even remember.
Why did you vote if you don't believe in democracy and you want autocracy?
Well, because look at that.
The fucking after all that, the kid didn't even cast his vote. From what, if we're going to take his word for it, for Donald Trump, it's just the conservative movement, I guess, has captivated him so much that even Donald Trump isn't conservative enough. Even Donald Trump isn't authoritarian enough. Even Donald Trump isn't fascistic enough. Even Donald Trump isn't bigoted or racist enough for that kid's views. All right, so we're running out of time here. We've got about 15 minutes left. We got through a bunch here. Let's just get to this real quick because I don't want to miss this. And I know if I get to a few clips, I'm going to end up forgetting or missing this. So I want to put this on the screen for you guys. Again, this is a Guardian article. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Russia launches 42 drone strikes on Ukraine overnight, hours after agreeing to Istanbul peace talks. At least a dozen people injured in strikes after the two countries agreed to meet for negotiations on Wednesday. Let's see if we can get to a little bit of this. You can see some of the photos here from it. Another night of Russian terror is the caption on that one. Ukraine's foreign ministry reported at least a dozen injured in 42 Russian drone attacks overnight, hours after the two countries agreed. Ukraine's foreign ministry report, we saw that. Defense Minister Rustem Umerov will lead the Ukrainian teams in these talks in Istanbul with the country's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, saying that Ukraine never wanted this war, and it is Russia that must end the war that it started. Absolutely right. But I just obviously want to keep this in your mind, in the spotlight, because the drone strikes and the killings continue. This has not stopped. It has only escalated since Donald Trump took office, and he has done absolutely nothing to stop it. Let's see if we can just, again, some of the photos coming out of here. Let's see if this is all from that. Oh, look at this, the drone showhead right there coming in. See the asshole there. Another more damage of the drone strikes. This is residents inspect a damaged car at the site of a Russian drone strike amid Russia's attack on Ukraine. This is in Odessa. So, yeah, just wanted to make sure that we understand that is continuing. That is something that has not stopped. I know a lot of news is happening inside the United States at the moment, but I want to make sure that we continue to put that on the front lines, continue to make sure that we talk about that. There are a few other things here. Donald Trump has ordered people into sanctuary cities here. Let me see. Share this tab instead. Trump knew at a glance immigration agents to flood U.S. sanctuary cities as Marines withdraw from L.A. Let me see if I put this on the screen for you guys. Here we go. So Trump's border czar vows to flood the zone with ICE officers. 700 Marines redeployed, and president's mega bill estimated to pile $3.4 trillion onto the national debt. Key U.S. politics stories say Trump administration is now targeting U.S. sanctuary cities in the next phase of his deportation drive. Tom Homan, Donald Trump's hardline border czar, vowed to flood the zone with immigration, customs, and enforcement agents, saying every sanctuary city is unsafe. Sanctuary cities are sanctuary for criminals, and President Trump's not going to tolerate it. Another part of the news that we definitely have to keep our eye on. There was another story here that I wanted to just kind of touch on quickly before we went on. I think it just mentioned there that Trump's tax bill is going to add $3.4 trillion to the U.S. debt over the next decade. And that here Trump is now gutting the here we go. This is a People article. Trump administration guts office to combat human trafficking amid criticism over President Trump's Epstein ties. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you were being accused of having relations with, being best friends with, having flown on the plane, on the flight logs, engaged in sexual activities, criminal activities with a pedophile, with Jeffrey Epstein, as it pertains to his sex trafficking ring, human trafficking, would you then gut the office to combat human trafficking? Like, is that something you'd do here? Oh, thank you, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Thinking about you. Thinking about you, dude. All right, let's go. So just a little bit. The Trump administration gutted the State Department's office that combats human trafficking on Friday. Federal employees in the office to monitor and combat trafficking in persons were surprised and disappointed by the mass cuts, given that Republicans have made trafficking a major talking point in recent years. The recent firings came as the Trump administration faces fierce bipartisan backlash over its handling of evidence in Jeffrey Epstein's 2019 trafficking case. Again, I suggest you read that, because that just again goes to show that that Donald Trump and the Republican Party on the whole are full of shit as it pertains to protecting children, as it pertains to protecting women, as it pertains to caring about human trafficking. Because if you did care about human trafficking, you damn sure wouldn't gut the office that combats human trafficking. Just saying. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. One gifted membership. Somebody better say thank you to Marsha for the gifted membership. Thank you so much, Marsha. Appreciate that. And then there was another one here. No, it was just the article talking about how Trump's tax bill is going to add $3.4 trillion onto the debt over the next decade. I advise you to check that out as well. But I just wanted to go on and play a few of the clips from a genocidal madman who I guess decided to do a podcast mid-genocide, mid ethnic cleansing, mid attacks on Syria, mid killing children and women and anybody else that comes to get food in Gaza. But this was Benjamin Netanyahu sat down with the Full Send podcast, which are the Nelk boys, who also had Donald Trump on prior to the election. They are just fucking two meatheads, really, that lean or hang out or at least believe in what the right, the MAGA fucking cult says. They have very much propped that up, very much been used to propagandize the MAGA cult. So I just wanted to take a look at a few of these clips because, to have a fucking war criminal, to have a genocidal madman who has and is currently wanted by international fucking officials for the crimes, for the war crimes, for the international crimes he's committed, has an active warrant out for his arrest. If I was to, for some fucking reason, have him on the Blunt Politics podcast, that would be the most combative, the most aggressive, and probably the shortest interview in the history of Blunt Politics. Because if anybody's watched this show for a period of time, for any period of time, you know damn fucking well how that interview would go and what I believe and what I think of Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli fucking government right now, and what they've done for years and what they continue to do now. Right? Yeah, they did actually. We'll take somebody said they were on Hasan. I'll be tired about it. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at, if we get to it, if we have enough time. There's a couple clips of them being questioned by a few people. And like I said, Nick Fuentes is one of them. And Nick Fuentes actually has a based take as it pertains to the Nelk boys sitting down with Benjamin Netanyahu. So let's get on with this. Let's see if we can get into this and, see how many clips we can get through, because there are a few of them that I have picked out here. Let me see.
I feel like on the internet now.
I'm going to make this bigger for you guys. Make sure you guys can see it on the screen. I'll probably do it like that so you don't have to see their douchebag face up close. And again, nice collar on the shirt. Why does he look like he's wearing a fucking football collar from 1992? Remember when the linebackers had the big white neck protector? And then it turned into like the Brian Cox flat up the back of the head. Like, what is he wearing? It looks like he just got out of the shower. He's got a fucking towel wrapped around his neck. What the fuck is that? All right, so this is just their intro to this and kind of, I guess, the explanation as to why they're doing it. And then we'll get into the hard-hitting questions that they asked and how they grilled Benjamin Netanyahu on the, again, genocidal, murderous, ethnic cleansing that he's now involved in, and how, I don't know, you could sit down, I guess, for a podcast in the middle of that with a smile on your face and talk about things like Burger King. All right, so let's get into this. I apologize. They're all meatheads in this, but that's why we call this out, because when people and meatheads like this get to a point where they're having heads of state, world leaders on their podcast, especially genocidal, murderous, criminals, war criminals, then we have to talk about it. So let's get into it. All right, let's talk about it. Here we go.
Now too, it's like you don't even know what's real anymore. Like you read shit and it's like you see a headline and it's like, is this true? Is this not true? So,
all right. So their first excuse: we don't know what's real. We don't know what to believe. Are they really killing women and children by the thousands? Are they really starving an entire population of people? Are they really attempting to move an entire population of people out of their fucking homes? Are they really stealing homes on a daily basis? Are they really, again, shooting their own hostages? Is this a thing? I don't know if this is a thing. Are these videos that I'm seeing real? Are these kids and dead bodies that I'm seeing on a daily basis on fucking a variety of social media sites? Are these real? I'm not sure. So because I'm not sure, then I guess I don't know what to believe, and I'm just going to stay neutral. Like, that's how fucking stupid these people are.
I see so much stuff about, what's going on in Israel and, Iran and Palestine. And to be honest, I just really don't know what is going on there. So
really, you don't know. You haven't seen any of the pictures. You haven't seen any of the photos. They're all doctored. They're all AI, right? In your fucking mind. None of the articles, even straight out of Israel depicting the, the murderous fucking activities of the IDF and how out of control the IDF is. You haven't seen any of those articles. But apparently you've been digging real hard to try to figure out the truth, right? Good grief. Imagine fucking, I can't play Ozzy Osbourne. I'll get copyright. You guys know that. Come on.
It's going to be interesting to sit down with Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Is it? It's going to be interesting to sit down with a fucking war criminal. Is it? That's not the first word I think that would come to mind to me if I had an interview with a war criminal.
And kind of just ask him some questions about what we read online and
get educated.
Probably going to be a lot of hate in the comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you're fucking morons and you asked dumb questions. And the IQ of 7 really affects your ability to conduct an actual fucking journalistic interview with a person that needs to be treated like the war criminal that he is, that needs to be asked direct and aggressive questions. It needs to be called out face to face for his war crimes. But instead, you fucking bitch-ass pussies decide to ask him about fucking Burger King and his fucking taste in fast food.
In my opinion, I mean, dude,
we're journalists, right?
We're we're technically.
Fuck you. You couldn't be further from a fucking journalist. You are the furthest fucking thing from a journalist, because a journalist would go into that with actual questions that have to do with the reality of the situation on the ground, that have to do with the actual policies and the actual fucking actions taken by the genocidal administration in Israel, by the genocidal war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Donald Trump's inability to stop it, and Donald Trump's fucking, involvement in this. You couldn't be further from a fucking journalist. What an absolute fucking joke to even say that word.
How can you pass up this opportunity at the end of the day?
No, and plus, at the end of the day, it's like we get the opportunity to sit down with one of the most powerful people in the world, a world leader.
Yeah.
And we get to ask him some stuff, and we're going to ask him.
And you get to look like, want to ask him. And you get to look like absolute assholes. Like, do you real proud of that? Real proud of that. Yeah, 2 fucking douche nozzles.
Too. So if you guys, want to hear shit whatever questions you guys want to hear. There's probably a ton of other interviews of him on CNN or.
Yeah, exactly. Have you watched those? Again, these serious journalistic interviews that you're talking about that actually get to the actual, like I said, reality on the ground there. Have you watched any of those? Do you not believe what's being talked about? Because, again, you seem to be unable to confirm what's real and what's not real as it pertains to news. So, again, you are the last fucking person that should have a podcast talking about the news. If you yourself say that you have the complete inability to decipher what is real and unreal, you're the last fucking person that I want to be talking to about the news. You're the last person that should be conducting interviews with world leaders. How do you fucking know what they're saying is real or unreal? How do you know what to combat? How do you know what to come back on? If you don't know what they're saying is like, this is a joke, an absolute fucking joke.
Like, typical news stuff. We're going to ask him what we want to ask him. So to me, this is crazy. Like how far we've come and we're get to sit down with world leaders.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. So.
Yeah.
Very well said, because it is absolutely fucking insane. All right. So that was this one. And then let me see here. There was a couple. This is the other one I wanted to do. Oh, here's an example of the hard hitting questions they were asking, ladies and gentlemen. Here's just one example of the hard-hitting questions. Let me stop this, play this, share this tab instead, make it big. Here you go. Here's the hard-hitting questions. You ready?
What's your go-to at McDonald's?
No, I'll tell you, Burger King. We did the double.
Can you fucking imagine? Having a man in that position with an active arrest warrant, wanted internationally for war crimes, actively committing genocide, actively engaged in ethnic cleansing, actively engaged in criminal and illegal bombings in several different spots? Can you fucking imagine sitting down with him, calling yourself a journalist, and then you ask him about his favorite fast food? You're telling me you ran out of questions, or you even let off with this, or you decided to slip this in somewhere in between the questions of genocide, murder, ethnic cleansing, corruption. Like you ran out of questions in those areas and decided to slip in one about Burger King, huh?
Whopper?
I haven't ripped Burger King in a long time.
Burger King kind of sucks.
Yeah.
No,
the BK Lounge can hit.
I disagree completely.
You like Burger King over McDonald's?
That's your worst take, I think.
Absolutely.
All right. So just in case you guys actually thought they may be asking tough questions, no. Here's, I guess, what I would call the toughest question that they asked. And this, again, doesn't even compute, doesn't even equate, doesn't even calculate as a tough question. But this is just another one. He asked, basically, why do they say you're starving people in Gaza? Again, asking, and the question coming from a place of absolutely no knowledge, a place of somebody that has no idea what's going on right now and is totally confused as to why he's seeing news outlets and papers and magazines and commentators and people online talk about how Israel is directly starving millions of people right now, because he doesn't know. He doesn't know what to believe. He doesn't know what to believe. So here's his question to Benjamin Netanyahu, and here's his answer. Oh, my apologies. Let me see if I can play the actual one. There we go.
Why do they say Israel's like starving the people of Gaza?
Well, because we're trying to get the food in, and we let food trucks in, and guess what happens when we let them in?
We're trying to, as we know, that Israel has been actively stopping aid trucks, has been actively making this more difficult, has been actively targeting people getting aid. And he has the fucking balls to say to these two fucking chuckle fucks, they say we're starving Gaza because we let the food in? Because they let the food in, he says. And again, with zero pushback from Chucklefuck 1 or Chucklefuck 2. But Good God. And here he goes blaming Hamas.
Good chunk for itself. Then they jack up the prices, and then they sell the food to its population, to its hungry population, if they give them at all. And then use the money that they take from their own people to recruit more killers into their terror machine.
Oh, you know what? That's crazy, guys. That's crazy. Because check this out. Check this out. Give me just a sec. Sorry, I might be going just over time, but I'll end on this one, all right? I'll end on this one. There are a few more clips to play from that. Maybe we'll get to it on tomorrow's show. I do have a show tomorrow night, 8:30. I would appreciate if you guys be there. So let's just see here. Just want to end on this, and then I'll get to thanking everybody. Listen, everybody remember, let's see here. There we go. From the Times of Israel. For years, Benjamin Netanyahu propped up Hamas. Now it's blown up in our faces. So I'm sorry. Can you give me that one more time as to what you talking about?
Why do they say Israel's like starving the people of Gaza?
Well, because we're trying to get the food in, and we let food trucks in, and guess what happens when we let them in? Hamas steals the food.
Okay, so going by what you're saying, even if we stoop down to your fucking stupidity level, and we try to even, just go with the flow here and what you're saying, who the fuck is to blame for that, my friend? Who the fuck is to blame for that? Who for years propped up Hamas in order to hold on to power, in order to hold control over that region, to keep them oppressed, to keep them fighting, to keep them so they don't have a solid government? Huh? Who did that? Who's to blame for that? The premier's policies of treating the terror group as a partner at the expense of Abbas and the Palestinian statehood has resulted in wounds that will take Israel years to heal from. So who the fuck's to blame for that, you piece of shit? Huh? Tell me. Because I didn't prop them up. I didn't prop them up for years. I didn't send them fucking money for years so that the West Bank could be separated from the rest. I didn't say that. So if you're going to blame Hamas for anything, guess what? We should probably blame the guy that's been propping them up for years. How about that? And again, there are a few more. It might be just, let's see if we can get to I just want to play this. We'll end on this then. We'll end on this. How about that? My apologies. I know I'm over just a couple minutes, but let's see if we can get to this one. I'm going to share this tab instead for you wonderful ladies and gentlemen. Bring this on the screen and we'll end on this one. All right. This is somebody that we just talked about last show, calling out Donald Trump with sort of a base take on Donald Trump. Now, with a base take, talking to the Nelk boys about having Netanyahu on their podcast, right? So when you've lost Matt Walsh, when you've lost Nick Fuentes, when Nick Fuentes is spitting fucking base takes, you know there's problems. So let's just take a look at this. We'll end on this. I'll even speed it up so we can get through it a little bit quicker, and then we'll go from here. Here we go.
And you also have to keep in mind that, you said before you brought me on that I'm canceled. You don't know a lot about me, that you think I hate Jewish people. I will say, just for the record, I'm a live streamer. I do a talk show, okay? So I've never been convicted of a crime. I've never hurt anybody. I'm not a terrorist. I do a talk show. I do a live stream where I talk about politics. Netanyahu, on the other hand, is currently prosecuting a war and has been prosecuting a war for 20 years. And it's so funny that you have an interview with Netanyahu, and I don't know how that came about, but it's totally mainstream. It's totally acceptable. You have it on all the major platforms. But this is somebody who has killed people. This is somebody who's in the process of committing what is effectively an ethnic cleansing and a genocide. And it's just sort of interesting.
I mean, so far, no notes. So far, no notes. Like he's trying to give it to him soft. Like he's trying to lay it on, not trying to be too aggressive with it. But so far, no notes. Like fucking, you just had a guy on that's literally at this moment carrying out a war and an act of genocide. You do know that, right?
We're talking about platforming. Who are we going to bring on? Who are we allowed to talk to and have these conversations with? And people think it's basically a foregone conclusion. We'll have on a foreign head of state who is killing women and children, hosting these humanitarian aid sites, and killing the Palestinians that try to get their food and water. And there's
just showed that story. Not a lie. That's a fact. That's a fact. Hate to agree with the Nazi, right? Hate to agree with the Nazi, but when you've lost the Nazi as far as genocidal acts and having that fucking war criminal on, right? I mean, what the fuck? What are you going to do?
Like a moral equivalency that's created with someone like that and someone like myself.
Oh, I mean, we didn't
I do a
hesitate.
talk
We didn't
show.
hesitate to have you on for a second. The second the chat said,
Yeah, right. And look what they go to having Nick Fuentes on. They don't address the fact about Benjamin Netanyahu. They go straight to Nick Fuentes. And Nick's like, I don't give a fuck about myself, right?
No.
Nick Fuentes, I DM'd you 15 seconds later. Obviously.
No, and I'm not criticizing you or anything. I'm saying that's like the mainstream opinion. People are afraid to have me on the show. I'm considered canceled or whatever.
All right, so he again calling them out for having a war criminal, a genocidal madman on. I think we'll end on that. If we're going to play any more, then we'll check them out on the we'll check them out on tomorrow's show, because there is how long is this one? All right, this one's 18 seconds. All right, last one, ladies and gentlemen, last one. 18 seconds, then we'll get into the thank yous. Let's just get into this one. Yeah, this is a pretty good one. Here we go.
Good. It's a good point. Someone said having Netanyahu on is like having modern day Hitler.
No, I saw that.
Which is, honestly, guys, I'll be honest. I'm here to. It's a good point.
Can you honestly imagine, ladies and gentlemen, going from saying this? Oh, sorry, I wasn't even showing it the whole time. That's my apologies. My apologies. All right, one more time for you guys. One more time. So this is the same people that interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu, obviously reading something in the chat where somebody said that having him on is like having on a modern day Hitler. And these two seemingly agree with the comment and then go on to conduct the interview in the way that we just showed, and that we'll show again tomorrow night on the broadcast. But again, one more time, just take a listen to this, because this is remarkable to go from agreeing that Netanyahu is modern day Hitler to having him on your podcast and asking him about fucking Burger King. So let's check this out, and then we'll end.
Good. It's a good point. Someone said having Netanyahu on is like having modern day Hitler.
No, I saw that.
Which is, honestly, guys, I'll be honest. I'm here to. It's a good point. We're here to fucking learn, to be honest, guys. Good. It's a good point.
Imagine that. Like going from, yes, that's a good point that you're having a modern day Hitler on your fucking channel, to asking him about Burger King. Like, you have got to be shitting me. All right, let's get into the thank yous. I'm a little bit over, and I do apologize. See how quickly we can get through these. Mel, leading it off. I love you, sweetheart. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything you do, whether it be the background, whether it be the overlays, whether it be the thumbnails, whether it be the intro, whether it be the outro. You do it all. I appreciate it so much, and I'm very, very lucky and appreciative that to have you on this team and to be part of a team with you. So thank you so much. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Make sure that people are thanking Mel for the 5 gifted memberships if you receive them, and even if you didn't receive them. And after Mel is Rox. Thank you, Rox. Starting it off with 2 mods. Just starting out, you guys are fantastic. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Rox, for the 5 gifted. Make sure we're thanking Rox. Make sure that we're thanking Susan for her 10. Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you, Steven, for being here for 8 months. Seems like yesterday I found Boston Brian. Well, it wasn't. It was at least 8 months ago. But I appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you, Slacks. Love right back to you. I appreciate that. And hopefully I'll get some good news as soon as I get off here about my uncle. Thank you so much for your kind consideration in all the messages. Thank you, Alvin, for being here for 5 months. And you are absolutely right that Trump is running scared. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Best time of my day is being with you people. I appreciate that. Being a member for 7 months. Thank you. Let's see here. Lisa, thank you for being here for 7 months. Hearts right back at you. Susan again. Mark again. Let's go, Mark. Appreciate you being here. Happy birthday again, Elizabeth. I hope you two have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for your kind contributions, Mark, and thank you for your time and your energy and keeping that chat safe, Mark. You're an OG and a great guy, and I appreciate you being here for the show. Thank you, El Stinko Farce, Drowsy Donnie. Yeah, we need to come up with some nicknames. We need to start putting that maybe in some AI filters or something like that. See what it spits out, because we need to come up with something. Because, yes, you heard Glenn Beck talk about Donald Trump's only making these mistakes as far as, I don't know, bringing up Jeffrey Epstein every 2 seconds, calling out his base because he's tired. He's very tired. He's very, very sleepy. He's sleepy. He's been there 6 months. So, Jeff, thank you so much. Slacks again. No, Des, there you are. Let's go. Sneaking in the 10. Let's go. Clacks right after you. He looks like Tucker and Charlie Kirk had a baby. I already know what kid you're talking about on that video, too. That's crazy that you say that. Thank you, JD, for the profanity bonus. I appreciate that. Moms, thank you so much. John coming in with a huge $20 super sticker. Thank you so much. And then Kristen, 15 months. Let's go. Appreciate that. And I did see a couple of you fine people reached out on Venmo. So let me see if I can find who did that now so I can thank you, wonderful people, as well, because you are just as important as anybody else in keeping this. Thank you, Nancy. Oh, Nancy, you are fucking incredible. I appreciate that. Tori, David, the rest of you guys are unbelievable in what you do. And hold on, Mel, son, 1 second. Producer note. He said, federal judges in the District of New Jersey have declined to extend Alina Habba's appointment as U.S. attorney. Oh, that's great. That's great. Looks like Asen has that posted on Blue Sky if you guys want to check that out. But it says Fox, federal judges in the District of New Jersey have declined to extend Alina Habba's appointment as U.S. attorney. So, bye-bye. See you later. Oh, Bicycle Mike, thank you so much for the gifted membership. And Marsha, rounding it out. You guys have been fantastic. All of you, every single one of you has been instrumental in keeping this chat, keeping this show going. And not only that, but keeping it growing. So thank you so much for everything that you guys do and continue to do. I really appreciate it. As I always say, get the hell out of your seats and get into the streets. Now is the time. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive. But keep your head on the swivel. Make sure you're staying safe out there. I will see you guys tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific for the Wednesday show. Until then, keep fighting. Keep kicking ass. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I appreciate you watching. Please support independent media. Like, share, subscribe on the way out. And again, there's Venmo. Become a channel member, Patreon, multiple ways to help if you have those ways and you have the means. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Keep kicking ass. I'm Boston Brian, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right? I appreciate it. Later, guys. Thank you, Mods. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you, Rock. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Adam, Lopera, Andrea, all you guys. Fantastic.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Fucking Nazis.
They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means, acclimated? There's a fly. Oh, I wonder where the fly came from. Eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there. Never fight uphill, me boys, never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general, and they were fighting. Never fight uphill, me boys, but it was too late. Army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. No, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off! I said crud. You fall into some crud or something? Call them dumps, big massive dumps.
Is there anything worse than white people? White people are a mortal danger to you and your loved ones.
Taking him back to Nevada where he's wanted for banging horses.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.